Hi, I'm Dr. Melissa Longo. Welcome to Everyday Rockstar Moms, where every episode I'll interview moms just like you who are rocking it in their homes, raising their children, managing their households, building their careers, working on their relationships, dealing with challenges, finding success, trying to find balance, and themselves along the way. Every episode you'll hear from women just like you of all ages and stages of motherhood, sharing their stories, life experiences, and leaving you with practical tips, ideas, and inspiration to help you rock your life. On today's show, I'm chatting with Michelle Kusiar. Michelle works in the recreation department in her community. She's happily married to a great guy and the mom of Ciara, who is now 12, and Camryn, who is 2. Today, she shares her ideas about motherhood, some defining moments in her life, and the dramatic impact it had on who she is today as a woman and mother. We also chatted at length about her pursuit of health, both physically and mentally, the importance of her workouts and nutrition, how she makes time for it, and most importantly, what got her motivated to make some changes in the first place. I love Michelle's positive attitude and her commitment to making things happen in her life. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Take a listen. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here today. I've known you for quite some time, and I've watched you go through lots of changes in your life, from having more children and getting remarried and kicking up your workout routine. And I find you really inspiring, and I'd love for our listeners to hear some of your story. Do you want to start us off by telling us a little bit about where you're at now with regards to life, your partner, your kids, your work?
Sure. I'm not afraid to say my age. I'm a 42-year-old mom of 2 beautiful girls. One is 12 and one will be 2 at the end of April. I work full-time in municipal government in the recreation industry, which is what I love. It is a juggle, not going to lie there, but I definitely enjoy the challenges.
What do you think is the toughest part of your schedule that you have to juggle?
Sometimes it's getting out the door. Some mornings it's just making sure my preteen is up and ready and getting out the door for school. Sometimes it's leaving my toddler. Like, she doesn't want me to leave. She's holding onto my leg. And some days it's sitting in your office thinking, it's a beautiful day. I could be at the park with the girls. I could be doing this. I could be doing that. But then also, I do love my job. Recreation is fun, and I watch other families spend time together. So it's just a jumble of emotions.
Yeah, you sound like, it's a common challenge that women have when they have work that they love is balancing that time. Mm-hmm. And you're so lucky that you do have work that you enjoy doing, and that makes it maybe a little bit easier at times.
Yes.
Do you think that moms can have it all as far as trying to have a family life and a great marriage and a great career?
Yeah, I think like anything, it takes work. Like, you have to take steps and consistent steps to get to those points. So, for myself, one of the things is with my first child, I forgot about me. And so I took steps to focus on me as well. And when I was doing that, all the relationships around me started to flourish. Things started to get better because I was in a better place. So sometimes that's even just taking 10, 15 minutes to myself and reading a book or listening to a podcast or getting to the gym or, whichever. And then also making sure that my husband and I set aside time for us. It's usually after the girls go to bed, but we still make sure that we have time for us, and then making the best of the time that I am at home. So yes, I work full time, but I have my evenings and my weekends, and so finding things to do with the girls then.
I think you touched on a really important point. Something I'm always stressing to men and women in my practice is the importance of time for yourself and taking care of yourself. None of us can give anything to our partners or our kids or to do our best in our work life if we're depleted.
Exactly.
What did you have a moment you talked about with your first daughter? So let's, your 12-year-old is Ciara and your sweet little girl is Camryn. Yes. With Ciara, was there a moment or was there an episode or a time that was a specific trigger for you to think, oh, I've got to start taking care of myself?
Actually, it was a series of events. So when Ciara was 3, I left her dad And it wasn't, she approached me, and I started to realize it wasn't a healthy environment for her. So when that happened, it was a huge weight off my shoulders. I didn't realize what kind of space I was in until that happened. From there, I started to focus on making sure that I was providing for her. So focusing on my job and making sure she was comfortable. I mean, she was 3, she didn't really quite understand everything that was happening, but spending good quality time with her. And actually at that point was when I kind of put myself on hold. I wasn't going to the gym or anything like that. Then as things kind of leveled out, and I didn't feel like I was leveling out, that was when I took a big change in my life and I actually got challenged. Okay, I'll be honest. I was challenged to step into a CrossFit gym. And when I did that, I didn't realize how much I wasn't doing for me, how actually out of shape and unhealthy I was, even though I was going to the Y on my lunch hours. So when I started to do that, and I started to feel the energy change and my mental change, that was a big moment for me.
I think you touched on a few things there. Certainly with a major relationship change, a lot of moms and dads, you're in survival mode for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's a huge change. You've got, you're the emotional roller coaster of the relationship ending in conjunction with sometimes location changes, moving residence, and trying to find yourself in that whole process there's only so many hours we have in a day, right?
Exactly.
So that part, would you say that was one of the toughest parts you've had as being a mom, or have there been other struggles that you've had?
That's my toughest one for sure. Right now I'm going through Ciara's adolescent changes. So that's been a bit of a struggle, but right now I would say that was really tough because I knew I was doing the right thing, but there were so many things and going around me that made me think that I wasn't, and second guessing myself. And once I got through that and just kept going forward, I realized, no, it was the best thing for us.
Yeah, sometimes it's a tough, you have to, work your way through some muck to get to the greener grass, right?
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about being challenged and getting to the CrossFit gym. Is that something you've maintained?
I have. So I've been at CrossFit since 2012. I even did CrossFit through my pregnancy and my postpartum, obviously with modifications, but the coaching staff was really great in telling me what I could and could not do. So it gave me a really healthy experience having a child at the age of 40.
And it sounds to me like it's been a foundation to some of your transformation in taking care of yourself. Are there other things that you're doing these days that you feel dramatically affect your ability to perform, within your family and at work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a few years ago, you challenged me for a word to start my new year, the word I chose was healthy. And I didn't necessarily mean that in the physical sense. I meant that in relationship-wise, work-wise, mental, a whole variety of areas of my life. So not just being healthy, as everyone is using that term to describe their physical well-being. But so from there, this New Year's, I did not do a resolution. I made a promise to myself to be a better version of me. As life happens, after I came back to work, I was fine for the first couple months. And then I kind of started a downward spiral of feeling overwhelmed and not sure that I just wanting to be at home. We sold our home and just a whole bunch of things. So there was a lot of stress there. So when this New Year's came around, I decided to be a better version of me and to get back on track. So January 2nd was like day one, and hit the gym 5 days a week, dialed in my nutrition so that I was feeling my body, so that I wasn't, getting sluggish and feeling tired and not having any energy to play with the girls and do all the things that I want to do. And then I also actually started reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of podcasts. So I now have a commute from where, I'll call it a commute. It's a 5-minute drive. But
it's a commute
I
from
listen
what
to
it was
podcasts
before.
on my way in.
Yeah.
So I've been working on sort of what energy am I putting out in my space. If you look at my Facebook page, I every morning try to post some positive quote or inspirational quote, and I try and end the day with a positive inspirational quote.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I think it sounds to me like you're really focusing on what is your intention for yourself at these days. You said getting better, a better version of yourself for this year. But even the choices, you use the word healthy to really define your mental health, your relationship health, your physical health. So it's like you've adopted sort of themes for yourself, and you're applying that in your daily life, which is why you're seeing some of the results probably.
Yeah.
How do you feel that your body is responding at this stage?
It's actually doing very well. I'm currently participating in the CrossFit Open. So there are 5 weeks of a workout that we do, and we submit a score to a website that it's international. There's over 100,000 people that participate in this. And so it kind of gives you that little extra challenge. And I am stronger than I was before I got pregnant. And I didn't know that until I signed up for this and started participating. I've participated in it before, but this was different because now I was doing my own little challenge at home where I was being consistent at the gym and I was eating healthier and all these things. And I am not quite exactly where I was 3 years ago before I got pregnant with Camryn, but definitely I'm pretty healthy for 42.
Yeah, and I love it. I think, what would you say to other women though? Because a lot of women at any age, have worked out or they get off track and they find it really, really hard to get back on track. So what's a motivating factor for you, and what would you say to other women?
Oh, that's a good one.
Also because your lives are busy, right? I mean,
yeah.
when are you fitting in your workouts now? You've got 2 kids to get to school, work to get to, a partner at home, and that's often a tough position for a lot of parents because they don't know when's the time. Where's the time going to factor in?
Well, it's funny. I hear that all the time, and you can really do a lot with your body in 10 minutes. So you can even Google. There's great 10-minute workouts that can be done at home.
Yeah.
And I often say to friends, come on, you can't tell me you don't have 10 minutes. Now, obviously, me going to the gym, it's not 10 minutes.
Right.
But I go on my lunch hours at work. So it ensures that I get out of the office. Mm-hmm. I sit in cement walls. So it gets me out of the office. I get my workout in, and I come back to the office. And when I don't do that, it's a very long day.
Yeah, I love you're covering so many things with that. Taking a lunch break, so midway through your day, you're working out at a good time of the day for you, and getting a break and mental clarity from the work life that you've got.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the short workouts too. I even love the 7-minute workouts. I've done the 7-minute workout sometimes while making dinner. I'll just go into the other room while that sauce is cooking, and it's amazing how much better you feel.
Absolutely. When you exercise, you release so many wonderful things in your body, and you can, like you said, mental clarity. You feel energized. I don't feel tired. I may work my butt off at the gym, but within a half an hour, I'm feeling energized. I'm ready to finish my day. This is great. Let's go. Yeah.
And do you feel that being part of the gym and the community there is part of what makes you shine? I mean, if I were to ask you, when do you feel you're performing at you're totally just in your element, you're just feeling great, things are flowing, everything's right in your world. Being at the gym sounds to me like it's part of it.
You nailed it, actually, when you said the word community. So there's a lot of different things that I'm involved with that have a community feel to it. There's definitely a community in our gym. When we do these open workouts, we're doing them at a scheduled time where everybody's there to cheer everybody on. When you are doing a workout in a regular class and someone finishes before you, they don't just pack up their things and go. They stand there, they wait for people to finish, and they cheer people on. Come on, you can do it. Pick up that bar, or you've got one more sit-up, or you one more push-up. And just surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded people. And when I do that, that's when I feel like I'm shining, because everyone around me is thinking the same way that I think, and they're positive. They're giving me positive energy. They're not bringing me down. They're not making me feel like I'm going in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, I mean, as individuals, it's always better for us to have supportive, positive relationships. Sometimes in life we develop relationships that end up being more toxic to us. Sometimes, as parents too, we get lots of people giving us criticism or feedback about the choices that we're making as parents or moms. Have you ever had to deal with any people in your life that you didn't necessarily think were healthy for you?
Absolutely. And I had to make a decision whether I wanted them to be in my life anymore. And for the ones that were friends that were very negative, and I didn't want to hang out with them anymore. So they're at arm's length, to be honest. I still talk to them, but they're not a key part of my life anymore. I had a lot of criticism when I was doing CrossFit pregnant, but those were from people who didn't understand what it was, and that, there's a coach in the room and they're telling you, yes, no, don't do that, do this instead. So the idea for me was just to keep moving and to have a really healthy pregnancy and childbirth.
So as far as your response to people who've ever challenged you with your choices as a woman or mother, it's been to limit your relationship with them?
Yeah. When they're challenges, when they're toxic, when they're just people that they live in this vortex of negativity, those are the people that are limited in my life.
Right.
I know there's people that are going to criticize what I do, and I don't completely eliminate them, but it's the people that live in just this, their whole world is negative. They don't see a simple joy in every day.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100% that we have to really focus on, and that doesn't mean we should just bail on every relationship, because some of them, they're individuals that are working through some things and maybe we can help them. But when you're surrounded, a lot of times people, when they start to make changes in their life, especially positive changes, the old people around you sometimes don't understand, right? Or they don't see you in that new way. And you actually do need to, as you're shedding the pounds, you also need to shed some of the attachments to that, the way you were feeling and looking after yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about your relationship. You are remarried to a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
And that is a big part of your joy, I'm guessing, in finding a great relationship for you.
Yeah, it is.
How do you guys maintain, you mentioned earlier, making time for yourself as a couple, especially when the girls are in bed. Do you have any other tips about keeping your relationship strong?
We just try to have a lot of fun. He's a little younger than me, so it's kind of fun. We have we just had so much more in common. Like, we have a trailer that we keep up near Lion's Head, and because we've done that, we've ensured great family time and even relationship time. We've gone up there by ourselves just to get away. We can't go out a lot, but we try to at least get out, once a month for a dinner, movie, whatever. When on weekends, when Camryn's napping and Ciara wants to read her book or play on her Xbox or whatever, we'll go outside and just sit and chat. And we have a dream chat once a week. So for like an hour, we just talk about, what do we see ourselves doing? What do we want to do? What do we want to do in the next 5 years? What more do we see? So we do things like that.
I love that, the dream chat.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, parenting for you as a whole. Do you think, has it been what you expected it to be? I love this question. Everyone answers it with something similar, but a little different spin on it.
Yeah. I had wanted to be a parent at a young age, and I didn't have Ciara until I was 30. And when I say young age, I really thought I'd have my first child by the time I was 23, 24. That just didn't happen. Right. But what I love about parenting is I really do think it keeps you young. I have fun with my kids. I'm on the floor playing with them. I goof around. I do silly little April Fool's tricks and all that kind of stuff, and that's really fun for me. Sure, there's challenges, and there's times like with Ciara going through puberty right now, and the juggle of hormones. Sometimes I'm sitting there thinking, what did I do? But you know what? It is something that I really do think it's a gift, and I cherish that. That I'm lucky that I was able to have a child and two, so I just try and cherish it. I mean, obviously there are days where I'm frustrated and it's not easy, but again, going back to my Facebook posts, I try and post a simple joy every day. And if I look back at those hashtag simple joy, I'm like, most of them are about my girls. Yeah. The two of them reading together, playing together, laughing together.
Yeah, I think we're going to nickname the teenage years the fun years. One of the other moms on the show recently has adult kids now, and she talks about them, those fun years. And I thought, we have to start changing our language around the adolescent years being full of angst and family challenge, because you certainly get what you put out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The hormone changes are certainly real, and you look at, my son's 13, and sometimes I look at him and I think, what? Who are you right now in this moment? And so I understand what you're saying completely, but it's definitely being present with them. I think that helps them a ton.
Yes.
Who would you think is one of the biggest influences on who you are as a mother? Do you have any role models in your life like that?
So I definitely my mom. My mom was she's still with her grandkids, is on the floor playing and very active play with them. She's a skating coach, or was a skating coach. She's retired. So she was always there every morning when we got up and got ourselves ready for school and got us all going. And she was always organized that when I got home from school, I had a list of what I was supposed to do to get dinner ready. So then Dad would come home because she worked nights. And how she kept it all together, it totally inspires me to be as best a mom as I can, like her. And I have another friend of mine, Camryn. She was my college roommate. And she is a mom of 4 children, and they're all a year and a half apart.
She's busy.
She inspires me every day because she raised these kids. She, like, at one point, all the kids were under the age of 6. Like, wild. But anyway, she's inspirational to me too.
Yeah. It sounds like you've really created or curated a great group of people around you at this point in your life.
I have.
Yeah.
It wasn't always like that, but it is now.
Well, life takes us on a interesting route to happiness. Would you say what would you say was like a really defining moment for you? I think who we are as women obviously shapes who we are as mothers too, right? And I can think of some moments in my life that really gave me direction and the kind of mother I wanted to be. Do you have any moments like that?
I would say when I made that decision when Ciara was 3 to leave my relationship, when I left, at that point I was the receptionist at our town hall, sitting with 2 diplomas and not doing anything about it, but not getting the support to do anything about it. So when I made that decision, I just started climbing the mountain. Like, things were, I was going to be a different mom because I was going to be in a better mind. My mind was going to be not so dreading going home after work. And so things just went up from there. From there, I got promotions. From there, I mean, I'm sitting now using both my diplomas, really.
Right.
And helping people. And yeah, I think that would be the moment.
Yeah, it was a pivotal moment, it sounds like, for you, as really getting to know yourself as a woman, right? And reconnecting with your physical sense, what you talked about earlier, needing to take better physical care of yourself. But it sounds like there was a big emotional shift for you there as well.
There was. I gained some self-confidence. I started to recognize my potential. And from doing that, from recognizing my potential, because I started to listen to other people instead of listening to what was being said to me at home, I realized that, hey, you know what? I am a good person. And I have tons to offer people, and I have tons to offer in this industry. So I'm just going to, I went out there, just put myself out there, and so many good things came back to me.
Yeah. That's so fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What would you give, what advice would you give to yourself, your younger self? There's some of the moms listening to the show have young babies. Maybe you're considering having a child. Is there anything that you wish you did differently, or any advice you would like to go back and give yourself when Ciara was younger? Or any ways maybe some ways that you want to really remember your time right now, some things that you're focusing on so that you don't miss out on these years with your kids young.
Well, it's going to sound just so, you hear it all the time, like, don't sweat the small stuff. Like, it's small stuff. And in the big picture and the reality of the world, there's so much more going on. So enjoy your time. Find your simple joy every day. And reflect on that.
Well, that's still some good perspective and advice there, Michelle. A lot of times we get caught up in, the load of laundry or the dishes or a deadline at work, and we can forget the little people that just need some direction and quality time with us. And it doesn't take a lot of time with our kids sometimes, right?
Yeah. No, it's true. Like when I get home from work and there's toys everywhere, and I'm going, oh my God, my house is a disaster. But the reality is, look at how happy my child is. She's been playing all day. She's having a great time. She's had a good time with her dad.
Yeah. Well, I love your story, Michelle. Thanks so much for sharing it today. Do you have any final thoughts? I always like to say that, rock stars always put themselves out there, right? And they're really brave. You've certainly showed a lot of courage in making some changes in your own life, from leaving a marriage, pursuing new work, remarriage. It takes courage even to be willing to get married again, right?
Yeah.
What inspires you every day?
I actually have on my wall a quote by Michael Jordan. And it's something that, it was how I was challenged to get into the CrossFit gym, but it's something that stayed with me, and I think about it often. And that quote is, some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen. And I want to be a make it happen girl.
Awesome. And it's, I would have asked you that too, a quote or saying that inspires you. It sounds like that has got you through lots of different times.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Michelle. Do you have any final thoughts for anyone?
No, this was great. Thanks for having me. I guess I would just say, don't get caught up in all those little things, and think about all the things that make you happy, and reflect on those and cherish them.
And get out there and do it.
Absolutely.
Get out there and make it happen.
That's right. Be a make it happen person.
Okay, well, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, you too.
There you have it, a great story today from a mom who rocks. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Be sure to head on over to iTunes and subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. When you do that, I'll be sending you a copy of my top 10 tips for moms. These are some of my personal practical strategies I believe that as women we can all benefit from and help us be emotionally and physically as healthy as we can be. When you're also there on iTunes, I would also love it if you left a review. It's really important to leave some reviews because that helps other people find the podcast, and it helps inspire them to listen and potentially gain some insight from the podcast. Tell other moms that you know would benefit from this show, or most certainly nominate them and let me know who you think I should be interviewing. I'd love for you to connect with us on Facebook as well. Head on over to Everyday Rockstar Mom and join our community there. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time.